Hi, my name is Rick Speckman. I'm CEO of Emperform, and our company focuses on employee retention management. Boy, how many times have you heard it? Communicate, communicate, communicate. What I'm identifying is the 7 sins of communication, 7 elements that I've identified as critical communication barriers that occur within companies and that are easily repairable by management. How often do you say, you know, boy, sometimes we just have to sit down and talk, but you just don't find the time? Rule number 1 on this one simply is make a point with every one of your employees to put in your calendar specific times to meet with them and make sure you honor and stay with that time. It'll mean a great deal to both you and them, and you never know what you might just find out. Isn't it funny how a little anthill becomes a molehill, which eventually becomes a mountain? We have a tendency in business and in the work with other people that we a lot of times don't speak up and say things when we really should. And it becomes a barrier in working relationships. So my recommendation is, rather than let things really pile up, as a manager, make sure that anytime you have something that you think you need to discuss with one of the employees, that you get to it sooner than later. Wow, there's a lot of stress in the marketplace today. I mean, just think about all the challenges that we have in our work environments. Sometimes that really begins to build, and you can feel the tensions mounting, you can feel the frustration, you can feel the atmosphere. Well, my feeling is this. There's only one person really in charge of climate control at a company, and that's the manager. And as a manager, you need to determine at some given point in time that if it looks like the employees or a particular employee is just getting tight, you need to step in and have that lighten up talk with them so that they can calm down, relieve some of the stress, and get back onto their work, because harmony is the most critical element of synergy within a company. How many times have you sat around a table, you know that there was something that needs to be said, but nobody wants to bring it up? It's literally a point of good leadership and facilitation to get your team to say, guys, you know what? This isn't working quite right. Let's get it out on the table. Let's get everybody's opinion. Let's do some brainstorming, and let's unload these bags filled with all of these observations and opinions that we're holding to ourselves. As a manager, you're in a challenging position when it comes to communication because you're an authority figure. When somebody gives you an opinion, make sure that it's not coming out as an edict, as a command from management. One of the greatest things that can happen is one person asking another person for their opinion. I know it means a lot to me when people ask me for my opinion, but my gift back is to present it as an opinion and not a command. You know, it's funny in the workplace, with all the personality styles, we're not all great communicators. And you know, a lot of times, we find out that people are motioning or they're gesturing or they're behaving a certain way, but they're not really saying kind of what's on their mind. They think that you can interpret, that you literally can read these signals that they're sending. And the trick for management is to watch for those signals, that body language, that behavior that tells you, you know, something's going on here, and I can tell they're hurting or they've got this emotion going on or whatever it is, but they don't speak up. Capture that person. Sit down with them and say, you know, I think you're trying to tell me something, but I'm not getting the message. So tell me what's going on. Time and time again, I've worked with groups all over the country, and the #1 complaint I hear about management is that they don't walk the talk. They give rules to other people, but they don't follow their own rules. That's a tough one. That speaks to the integrity of your company and the integrity of your relationship. Think about it. You've got to walk the talk. You're the primary example. You set the standard for integrity and trust within your company. So think about what you're doing and saying, and watch your own behavior. Well, that's about it. I've identified 7 critical elements of communications and the barriers that seem to pop up and the ways to resolve those quickly. I wish you a lot of luck in your communication with your teams.